is not a workload problem, it's a longevity problem. Welcome to Longevity Unlocked. On today's episode, I'm going to give you a peek behind the corporate veil. This is the Corporate Longevity Advantage Experience, where we uncover how organizations can future proof their leaders by optimizing energy, brain health, and resilience. I'm your host, Sherri Austin, a registered nurse and executive longevity and high performance strategist. Today, I'm going to say something that may feel uncomfortable, but it is absolutely necessary. Burnout is not caused by too much work. Burnout is caused by leaders running 21st century workloads on 1990s physiology. If your executives are exhausted, unfocused, or mentally checked out, the issue is not workload, it is their biological capacity to sustain it. Burnout has been misdiagnosed for decades. We treat it like a time management issue. We talk about calendars, task delegation, and productivity apps. We send leaders to stress management workshops that teach them breathing exercises. Not that breathing exercises are not effective, they are. But corporations are ignoring the physiology that makes the stress feel unmanageable in the first place. Here's the truth. Burnout is a failure of recovery, not a failure of effort. Your leaders are not weak, they are biologically outpaced. And when the physiology is dysregulated, everything from decision making to emotional regulation to executive functioning declines long before a leader ever says, I'm burnt out. I'm going to give you a couple of research studies. Science-backed study number one, the system is overloaded. The World Health Organization classified burnout as an occupational phenomenon rooted in chronic stress dysregulation, not laziness, not lack of willpower, not disengagement, chronic dysregulated stress. The body literally loses the ability to return to baseline. In other words, a leader may look productive, but their nervous system is being taxed at a level that is no longer sustainable. Science-backed study number two, the cost of mismanagement. This was shocking to me. A Stanford study revealed that workplace stress costs U.S. companies nearly $190 billion with a B per year in healthcare and productivity losses. Burnout is not a morale issue. Burnout is not an HR inconvenience. Burnout is a financial liability that compounds over time. When leaders lose capacity, organizations lose performance, and the decline is silent until it becomes urgent. What most organizations don't realize is that burnout is also a longevity disruption. When the nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, when sleep is compromised, when inflammation is high, and when executives push through fatigue daily, your leaders are aging biologically faster than their career timeline requires. What does that mean for you? Short-term performance, long-term decline, and a leadership bench that erodes from the inside out. This is why I teach companies that longevity is the new ROI, not yoga mats, not step challenges, not another lunch and learn on self-care. Longevity is an operational strategy. Leadership teams are experiencing what I call the 3 p.m. shutdowns, sitting in meetings, but their brain has already left the building. A lot of times, this is contributed to poor sleep and exhaustive mornings fueled by caffeine and poor nutrition intake. You're wondering what's the solution? A targeted longevity plan, a sleep reset protocol, anti-inflammatory adjustments to your nutrition plans, a micro recovery schedule, strategic hydration and glucose regulation habits. The results? A changed physiology, not a changed workload. That is longevity at work. Before I became an executive longevity strategist, I spent almost 3 decades as a registered nurse working in high acuity environments where burnout was considered part of the job. I operated in functional exhaustion for years. I was productive, I was reliable, but inside, my physiology was deteriorating. When I finally began studying the science of longevity, sleep architecture, inflammation, nervous system regulation, I realized something. I wasn't burnt out because the work was hard. I was burned out because my body lacked the systems to sustain it. That realization changed everything for me. I was able to use this system to change my physiology, and it is why I do this work today. If your leaders are burning out, the solution is not more planning meetings, restructuring, or productivity tools. The solution is building physiological capacity inside your leadership pipeline. Because the strongest leaders are not the ones who can push the hardest. The strongest leaders are the ones whose biology can sustain the performance required. And when companies invest in longevity, not quick fixes, they see lower turnover, higher clarity, better team culture, more resilient decision making, a competitive advantage in leadership retention. This is strategic. This is scalable. This is the future of corporate wellness. If you're listening and thinking, yes, this is exactly what our organization is experiencing, then let's talk. I offer a corporate longevity strategy call where we assess burnout drivers inside your organization, uncover the physiological gaps affecting performance, and identify the first 3 longevity interventions that will create measurable changes in your leadership team. Your leaders don't need another wellness trend. They need a longevity operating system. The link is in the show notes. I look forward to supporting your organization. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If there is one message I want to leave with, it's this. Burnout is not a character flaw, and it is not a leadership weakness. It's a physiology mismatch, one that can absolutely be corrected. When organizations build leaders who are healthier, clearer, and more resilient, everything changes. Performance, culture, retention, and long-term organizational strength. This podcast exists for one reason: to help companies move beyond outdated wellness trends and finally adopt a longevity forward strategy that supports sustained leadership. If today's conversation resonated with you, share this episode with another leader, team, or organization that needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe, because in episode 2, we'll be challenging another common belief: why chronic fatigue is not inevitable, and how your teams can reclaim energy in ways that are science backed and immediately actionable. I'm Sherri Austin, and this is the Corporate Longevity Advantage. I'll see you in the next episode.